Through while driving between LA and Las Vegas. There is no known damage or injuries, but the shaking was felt around LA. We felt it here in the ABC News Bureau. A few seconds of minor shaking. I noticed the water in my water bottle rocking back and forth.
ABC's Alex Stone in Los Angeles. President Biden's in Austin, Texas for a visit to the LBJ Library. He'll commemorate the anniversary of the Civil Rights Act, and he'll outline his plans to reform the Supreme Court. Tonight, he travels to Houston to pay final respects to the late Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. Former President Trump has agreed to do a victim's interview for the FBI as part of its investigation into his attempted assassination. Stocks closed mixed today. This is ABC News.
Summer is heating up, just like the deals at Omaha Steaks. From perfectly aged steaks to juicy burgers, Omaha Steaks is your summer grilling headquarters. Shop the Hotter Than Fire sale at omahasteaks.com for exclusive, unconditional money-back guaranteed packages starting at $99. Plus, get an extra $10 off with promo code QUALITY at checkout. Visit omahasteaks.com, code QUALITY for an extra $10 off. Shop the Hotter Than Fire sale today, before these deals go up in smoke.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Hello, I'm Greg Figueroa.
And I'm David Figueroa. Over 30 years ago, my brother Greg and I set out on a mission to offer the world a better hot sauce.
That's right, David. We made Melinda's thicker, hotter, and better than ordinary hot sauces.
And now we have 32 exciting and delicious sauces that hot sauce fans are obsessed with, like our ghost pepper sauce, our Thai sweet chili, and our best-selling black truffle hot sauce.
Melinda's also has 5 spicy ketchups made with real sugar and no added junk like high fructose corn syrup. People ask David and I, what makes Melinda so good? That's easy. We think like chefs do. Instead of burning someone with hot peppers and vinegar, we use fresh plant-based ingredients and the finest chili peppers perfectly blended to set your mouth on flavor.
Go to melindas.com to find our line of craft condiments at Walmart and other fine retailers. And right now, get 20% off our award-winning sauces with code SPORTS at melindas.com. That's melindas.com. melindas.com.
From the Nashville Sports Radio Media Complex, this is the George Plaster Show. Call George now at 615-844-5600 and online at WNSR.com. And now, George Plaster.
Featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Watson Brown, Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Kelly Holcomb, along with young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is, I guess you'd call it a rainy Monday in Nashville. Boy, I haven't been used to saying that for a while, but apparently while I was gone, y'all got a bunch of rain, which is badly needed. Let's see how we start this today. I missed you all. Bring Kelly Holcomb up, if you will, Billy. Kelly, in particular, boy, I really missed you.
Well, guess what? That's not, the feeling's not mutual because I didn't think about you until you called me today.
Well, that's beautiful. That's wonderful.
You're like the international man of mystery. You know, you get used to talking and, texting stuff over and over and, talking every day. And then, you're just gone, man. You were gone. Went to Biloxi and, yeah, you were gone. You were like the international man of mystery, Hoss.
So why don't you give me the grade on Billy?
Billy was good. The only thing I've got a problem with Billy is I didn't get a great weather report. He said that during the week. I didn't get a great weather report. He said it's not going to be like George's. We just kind of, just went through it really fast. You give an in-depth weather report, and I've been used to that. But other than that, I thought both Billies did a really good job. I really did.
By the way, Biloxi, Mississippi was the vacation site.
Nice. So you were
Yeah, we did
You
not
were
make
doing
that
it up.
public.
You were doing it up. A little blackjack.
Do you need insurance?
Is that your game, blackjack?
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Okay.
From the looks of things, it's not like I got rich. I did hear somebody at the table go into this long thing to another person at the table about, you know why they have those nice chandeliers? Because of fools like you.
That's right.
Okay, so
us, we're here.
So let's go back on Billy for a minute. Kind of give me the grade.
I'd have to give Billy just for the weather. I'd have to give Billy an A, man. I thought he did a really good job. We got good people on. He did a really, like I said, both of them did really good. I was just a little upset, taken back by the weather report. I mean, I usually get the Daniel Breezy from you, but I didn't get it from him. You know, he's like, it's hot, let's move on. You know, that was Billy.
That's not good enough.
But he said it during the beginning of the week that it's not going to be like George. I understand that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Got to be his own man.
So Kelly does like the weather reports. Is what I'm
apparently.
I'm
yeah,
gathering.
I mean
I'm not saying I like him, but that's just a starter. You know, it's a starter of the show. And once you get once you get used, once you get like you're going out before practice and quarterback center exchange. I get the weather report. You know what I'm saying? And
I added a twist. I tried to a couple days. I asked Kelly to play golf, and so we got into Kelly's golf game and gave a little report. So
yeah, he plays quite often.
He does. I realized that he does.
If you're going to be good, you got to play a lot.
It's crazy. It's a crazy game, man. But I shot a 72 the other day, which I was pretty stoked about. I'm trying to get in the 60s.
I've had no problem doing that. I can get into the 60s. I don't happen to play the back nine, but that's neither.
That's what I was about to say. When you're in the 60s already, you're on hole number 12.
Yeah, that's not good. So, Billy, I'm told that. Well, first of all, let me ask this question. Terry has joined you throughout quite a bit of the week. Okay, let's go ahead and bring him up right now with the Daily Titans update. Terrence, how are you?
I'm good. My Yankees finally won a series again, so I'm better.
They went to Boston after gagging Friday night. Boy, they had a big ninth inning hit Saturday night that got them that win. And then yesterday, pretty well dominated.
Yeah, and they rewarded Trent Grisham for that clutch hit by benching him and picking up Jazz Chisholm.
That'll teach him. So, okay, I have not been here. So, first of all, how's training camp going so far?
Well, typical training camp, they haven't gotten in pads. I think tomorrow may be the first day that they actually get into pads. They did have the open practice for fans that took place Saturday at Nissan Stadium. Had about 10,000. That was the announced crowd that they said they had. And it was good work because it got, a little bit of offense versus defense in front of folks to see, who was doing what. And, for the most part, it appears the defense may be a little ahead of the offense at this juncture, but the offense still managed to make a few plays. And in fact, Malik Willis had a solid day Saturday, even though he was running third team. He was on the money with a lot of throws, stood in the pocket, and showed some poise. So, him needing to have a strong camp to fortify his roster spot, off to a solid start.
So, I'm trying to think through that. Have they made clear they intend to keep three, or give me some thoughts there?
No, they haven't said one way or the other if they're going to keep three on the 53-man roster or if they're going to, just keep two and try to slide somebody to the practice squad. The only thing that Brian Callahan has said throughout this process is that Malik Willis and Mason Rudolph will compete for the number 2 spot behind Will Levis. But as far as saying that there will be 3 for sure on the 53-man roster, I think that all just depends on how well Willis plays during the preseason action.
Okay, but let's be honest here. There is no competition at number 2. Mason Rudolph is light years ahead of Malik Willis.
Oh, I don't think you're wrong there, George. I think Rudolph has a solid lead in that race to be the number 2 quarterback simply because of the resume that he has. I mean, he started down the stretch for the Steelers last year, led them to the playoffs. He has legitimate starting experience in the NFL, whereas Malik Willis, while he does have some starts in his career, they didn't pan out too well. So he's really kind of starting from ground zero again.
Anything else we should know?
Well, assistant coaches were made available today, and Bill Callahan said that the race to see who's going to start at right guard and right tackle will really start in earnest once they get the pads on, which could be as soon as tomorrow, and then after the first preseason game, once they get a chance to evaluate these guys. One guy who has been set back is Nicholas Petit-Ferrer. His rehab to be activated off the PUP list is probably going to take a little bit longer than they had initially hoped. I think they probably had hoped he would be close to returning, but sounds like it's going to be end of the week, first of next week now at the earliest before he can give it a go.
Hard to believe we got a preseason game in 10 days.
Yeah, crazy.
That is crazy. Terry, thank you as always.
All right, guys, have a good one.
That's Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update. Billy, I'm assuming you turned the update over to Billy Jones.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
Billy did a good job.
Did he?
Of course, we got Terry's Titans update thrown in there, but Billy did a really good job.
Oh, it's not thrown in there. It's valuable.
That was disrespectful.
Yeah, that was really not good.
We got Titans update added in as a benefit to the show.
Yes.
Yeah. But this update is brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. Log on mortgageladyyusa.com or give her a call 615-969-4350. George, you can watch the Braves again.
Yeah.
This Thursday, August the 1st, according to John Orand, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name,
Right.
Comcast and Diamond Sports have agreed to a deal. This means that Bally Sports will be back on Xfinity.
Okay, so you showed me the story a few minutes ago. If you will, go to this because I do smell a little bit of a rat in this. Go down a little bit. Go back up. A release says the Bally Sports RSNs will be available on Comcast's Ultimate TV tier. Okay, now, I believe what that means is that Comcast is going to try to fleece you. The two biggest fleecings going on in sports right now, and you'll realize after you hear this that I'm back. The first one is Comcast. The second is the Titans. This inviting everybody to this piece of crap called Titan House and then telling people you have to give up your first and second born to sit in the club level. Look, I want the Titans to do well. I want the Predators to do well. I want our city in sports to do well. I do not understand the logic of trying to basically tell somebody it's a $20,000 PSL for the right to buy your ticket. That's bullcrap.
Yeah, that's Braves. The Titans vice president Jim Rice, $750,000 to $75,000 for that.
Hey, how is
hold on. What's that for?
For the PSLs.
The PSLs. The PSLs are a ripoff.
That's what I was about to say because somebody was talking about it the other day that I was around the PSLs, and I'm like, I knew the Titans were about to do that, man, because it's outrageous.
It is an absolute fleecing. They ought to be ashamed. And it goes to what I have said about them for a long time. They don't give a damn about their fans.
They don't.
The concept of any loyalty to people who have stood by them in the 25 years they've been here, please.
It's going to come back to bite them.
It is going to come back to bite them, but you watch. First time they get in the playoffs, then they'll put out this protect our house. Well, you know what? make your house something that the fan can feel welcome for and not have to take out a mortgage. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Well, the Braves are back, so that's positive.
Yeah, well, whatever. Look, if you're looking for me to sit here and give old Comcast
a big
pat on the back, think again. Think again. This was disgraceful what went on.
Yeah, that was bad.
For more than 2 months, I didn't get to see all those injuries.
Yeah, you didn't miss much. Now the Braves need to start getting healthy, staying healthy.
Yeah, oh, God,
winning.
for Comcast's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Titans, former Titan Danico Autry, current Texans defensive end, has been banned 6 games for a PED violation. But here's the kicker. He said the violation was because his doctor submitted a prescription for a different medication that contained a banned substance. He said he did not intentionally violate the league's policy.
Have you ever heard somebody say, listen, let's cut the crap. I was trying to cheat.
Rarely.
Kelly, you ever heard that?
No, nobody's going to say that. They're not going to raise their hand and say, you know what, I did it. It's not going to happen.
It doesn't happen.
Deny.
Paris Olympics going on. Team USA leads with 20 medals. France in second with 16. The U.S. swimming team has been a force here early on. Nashville native Gretchen Walsh won silver in the 100-meter butterfly and broke the Olympic record in the semifinal.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Are you all watching it a lot?
And when I'm not doing anything, like I'll throw it on, but I'm not locked into it.
I have not, George.
Are you saying you have not watched it at all?
At all, and let's don't go. Let's don't go.
Yeah.
Let's don't go any further than that.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Did this cause an issue at some point last week?
No, it didn't cause an issue, but you just don't want to go there. So let's just not open a can. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I've got it.
Let's move on.
Keep going.
The Dodgers trade deadline tomorrow, 5:00. Right, George? The Dodgers have landed Tommy Edman and Michael Kopech in a big 3-team trade. So that's there's not too many big deals, but the big one out there potentially is Garrett Crochet, who the Braves are zeroing in on. Who I brought up last week. Billy can vouch for this as Danny, Crochet's out there. I don't think this is going to happen, but do the Braves target him? And
I think they've got a real juggling act to figure out because on one hand, you want to give any team that you've got that's in contention a better chance. But on the other, they have had so many injuries that you're like, are you throwing, are you risking prospects in your farm system in a year you can't win? I don't know. I mean, about the time I was totally convinced, look, they need to just stand pat, then they ripped the Mets around twice.
Yeah.
Pretty impressively. I don't know. I'm torn. God bless Comcast.
Crochet would be a massive pickup.
Well, yeah. It would also be the end of Max Fried.
Which is, we probably knew.
Being rumored a lot, and I don't understand why.
Lastly, the Mariners picked up Justin Turner in a trade with the Blue Jays, who I had forgotten was still going strong. He's a big postseason bat. He joins Randy Arozarena as the new additions to the Mariners. And they're tied for first place with Houston right now. So
I was going to ask Danny about that the other way. Where's Justin Turner going? Because the Blue Jays are not going to keep him.
No, and
get around to it.
It was funny. I happened to see it earlier today. They're playing game 1 of a double dip in Baltimore, and all of a sudden at the end of the first inning, they take him out of the game.
Yeah,
I get in the car and I hear all these changes they've made defensively, and I'm like, I bet they traded Justin Turner. And sure enough, I get over here to the Ford Ice Center, and I see it in a headline. They've traded Justin Turner.
That's the weirdest part of baseball.
During the game, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I bet he's on a flight right now, gone.
Yeah.
I bet he's thrilled.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's not always that way. There could be some really tearful dugout scenes when, especially if a player has been with a team for a good while. That gets pretty emotional.
You would think there'd be a way around that, but when the trade deadline falls, there's
not.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what we're doing today. After the break, you're going to hear from one of the most powerful men in college football. Gary Stokan is the executive director of the Peach Bowl, the Atlanta Sports Council, and this year, Atlanta, led by Gary Stokan, will have the national football title game after the 12-team playoff is over. He will join us after the break, and then at 5 o'clock, Neil Price, play-by-play voice of the Mississippi State Bulldogs, will join us, caught up with him Saturday. Let me take a second while I do have a moment and congratulate Bob Kessling, longtime play-by-play voice of the University of Tennessee, inducted Saturday night into the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame, and well-deserved honor. We'll go to the break and tell you that we've got plenty more coming, so do not go away.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5688. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com. Job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Just an absolutely incredible human being, one of the hardest workers in sports that I know. He's the Peach Bowl CEO and president, and he is Gary Stokan. And again this year, Gary, it's great to have you join us. How you doing?
George, so blessed to be here with you, and I'll give your associate here an extra Chick-fil-A sandwich for that great opening.
Oh, beautiful. And he'll absolutely accept anything that's free. He's in for.
I hear you.
So let me start with this. exactly how did Atlanta get the position to host in the 12-team playoff the first national title? How were you told that?
Well, I think we're blessed in that Atlanta is such a great city to host mega events, from the Olympics to Final Fours to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl to the SEC Championship game. You can go on and on. Next year, we'll have the All-Star game for Major League Baseball. The next year, we'll have the World Cup. So Atlanta's just built to host mega events. And so we're very blessed. CFP had a great experience in 19. Obviously, we all remember what may be the best game in the CFP era, with Alabama winning on the touchdown from Tua, touchdown pass from Tua to Smith. But I think they were looking at filling in after Las Vegas had the CES major event come to town. And so they were looking kind of where can we go, and Atlanta did such a great job the first time. They knew they wanted to come back to Atlanta again, and so it fit the schedule really nicely for Atlanta as well as for the CFP to do it again in 25. So, yeah, to your point, we're the first city to host the CFP National Championship twice.
So I'm a Braves fan, thus I've spent a lot of time in Atlanta over the years. But I'm also very partial to the city I grew up in, Nashville, Tennessee. Now that we've made the decision to build the Dome, what do you think Nashville's future is in all this kind of stuff?
Well, first off, let me pay compliments to Scott Ramsey. He does a tremendous job, and Scott's a great leader, and there's no doubt in my mind that Nashville will find itself having the same streak that Atlanta had when we first brought the Georgia Dome online, and now we're with Mercedes-Benz coming online. So there's no doubt in my mind that Nashville will be able to host Super Bowls, Final Fours, CFP National Championship games once they get that new stadium, particularly in light of not only Nashville being a great city, but to be in a domed facility makes all the difference in the world.
Gary, another thing you all have landed, which is just huge. Opening weekend, Georgia versus Clemson. They're separated by, 2.5 hours, two of the world powers in college football. How in the world did you pull that off?
Well, George, I got a trivia question for you. We'll start the interview with this.
I love it.
4 of the 8 last national championships have been won by Clemson and Georgia. 2 of those coaches, Dabo Swinney and Kirby Smart, were the coaches for those national championships. There's one other active coach that has won a national championship in the BCS CFP era. Can you name that coach?
Oh, this is so unfair. Anybody else chiming in that's listening to this interview? Please help me. Gary, the answer is?
I'll let you have some fun with that with your listeners after I get off the phone.
Okay, I like it. How did you get the game?
Yeah, so, coming to these SEC media days, ACC media days, Big Ten media days, Pac-12 media days, you just travel around a lot, going to the spring conference meetings, and you just talk with a lot of coaches and a lot of ADs, and you say, when do you have an opening? Would you be interested in playing? Would you want to play this team? Would you not want to play this team? And so it takes a lot of legwork to get out in front, look at schedules in advance, look at recruiting in advance to try and pair up the best game that you can. And so it's mainly through relationship building and making asks. I remember went to a Pac-12 media day, and Mario Cristobal, who I really didn't know, was coach at Oregon, and he had coached Alabama with Nick Saban when they played in our kickoff game. And so I went up to Mario. I said, look, I got Georgia in 2022 coming to play. Would you want to play against Kirby? I know you coached together at Alabama. He said, hey, I'd love to compete. We'll be ready by then. We'll have a great recruiting class. Yeah, let's do it. And so from that, called Rob Mullen, the AD at Oregon, we worked out a deal, and Georgia played Oregon. Now, unfortunately, Mario wound up going to Miami, and Dan Lanning, ironically enough, coming from the Georgia staff, went out to Oregon, and his first game against as an Oregon head coach was against Georgia and Mercedes-Benz, and Georgia, beat him pretty good. But, it's just by building relationships. George, you've been in this business a long time. It's all about building relationships and creating friendships and acquaintances. And, we're just fortunate enough to be able to put teams together and games together like that.
Gary, I know you've got Tennessee in one of these games a year from now. I'm looking that they're going to play Syracuse. If and when the SEC goes to 9 games inside the conference, do you worry that this kind of matchup that coaches are going to say, look, I'm not willing to go any farther with this?
George, you're very astute, obviously, because not many people would perceive that. But I think you're right. It's gonna be more difficult. The inventory will shrink if the SEC goes to 9 conference games, because as an AD, your job is to host 7 home games. And right now, with an 8-game schedule in the SEC and the ACC, the AD has 4 non-conference games he can schedule. 4 of those games in his conference are at home, 4 away, and then he has 4 left. Well, he can schedule 3 of those at home and make his 7, and he's got 1 game left, and that's the game we go after. Once they move to 9 conference games, it's going to be tougher for the SEC ADs because they make so much money in home games to schedule that other game away. So, it's going to become more difficult if they move to 9 games, no doubt about it.
There is no doubt that one of the secrets to your all's ability is what I call your friend-raising ability. You naturally have gift of gab, the ability to mingle with people. You make people feel good. Is that a trait for you that you always had, love of sports? Give me a little bit on that.
Well, I think 2 things. One, it goes back to my parents. My dad always taught me, hey, if you're going to do something, do it right the first time or don't do it at all. So when I'm going to do something, I'm all in, right? And I'm going to make it the best as it possibly can be. My personal philosophy of life is God's gift to you is life. Your present to him is using the God-given abilities that he's blessed you with and maximizing those talents and those abilities. The second thing is my mom always taught me it's better to give than to receive. And so I've always taken the impression, even though I work for Peach Bowl Inc., that I want to do a deal or a relationship or a business deal that I take into consideration the other person, that they want to continue to do business with me. Here I am 28 years into this job, and Nick Saban, I'll tell you a quick story. Hopefully I haven't told you before, but back in 2000 and I guess it was 2000, Nick was coaching at LSU, and he had just started there. He calls me and says, "Hey Gary, we're 8-4. We have got to get to Atlanta to play in the Peach Bowl, best bowl we can get to." And I never had a head coach call me before or since to get into our game. I flew down, met with him, came back, and I was in charge of, at that time, selecting the teams. And I went to my committee and said, we're going to take LSU. They're 8-4. We had Georgia Tech, who was, I think, top 15 in the country to play against them. And my people said, no, we don't want LSU. We had them in 96. They didn't come to the game, et cetera, et cetera. And I was in my second year. And I said, well, I met with the head coach. I met with the chancellor, who was Mark Emmert at the time, and I said, we're going to take LSU. And they said, we don't want them. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll put my job on the line. We'll take LSU, and if they don't do what they said they were going to do, you can fire me. And so my second year on the job, we took LSU. They sold 16,421 tickets. I still remember that number.
Oh, wow.
Since 2000, 24 years later. They came in, Josh Reed caught a touchdown pass from oh gosh, who's the big quarterback? Rohan Davey. Rohan Davey.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I go back after the game, after LSU wins a month later, do a survey with LSU. And Nick tells me, he says, Gary, every one of the kids that we recruited saw that game and they signed with us. And that was the team, the 2003 team that won the national championship. Booger McFarland and all those guys.
Yeah.
Fast forward to 2007, Nick's at Alabama now. They go 7-6 their first year, lose to Louisiana Monroe the year before. And I'm starting the kickoff game. And I've got Clemson already who's going to be top 10. I call Nick. I say, Nick, I'd love to have Alabama come over, play Clemson. He said, Gary, you helped me back in 2000. We'd love to come over and play in your kickoff game. Came in. They beat Clemson 34-10. They were on the cover of Sports Illustrated. And if Nick Saban were sitting here, and if you're doing an interview with him, you ask him about the 2008 kickoff game and how it came about. He would tell you that started Alabama's run because they won that game. The next year I had them. They were number 5 against Virginia Tech, number 7. They won that game, won the national championship that year. They had 19 kids from Georgia on their roster. And Nick would tell you that was the run that started the Alabama program. So those kind of relationships, that's what, you try and build on. And we've been ultimately successful in doing that.
Gary, I want to ask you this one last thing. A younger
Sure.
audience will say, well, the Peach Bowl's always been great and, it's indoors and it's always sold out and blah, blah, blah. But I'm old enough to remember when the Peach Bowl was at old Atlanta Fulton County Stadium and it was constantly plagued by bad weather.
That was our title sponsor before Chick-fil-A was weather plagued.
What was the turnaround to get the Peach Bowl into this kind of position years ago?
I think there's a few things. One, moving into the Georgia Dome gave us a covered area where we didn't have to worry about weather. Secondly, Chick-fil-A coming on as a title partner. Thirdly, I think the relationship with the SEC and the ACC. And then as we moved forward to get into the CFP, I think the ADs and the commissioners and presidents saw that we had worked hard to bring the College Football Hall of Fame to Atlanta, to build it and sustain it. We had worked hard to create the kickoff game format. We had been successful with our Peach Bowl games. And so all that were the ingredients in the recipe that allowed Atlanta to become ultimately the Peach Bowl part of the CFP. And I think Atlanta's capital of college football, as a lot of media have talked about.
Gary, I know you need to run. Thank you for the visit as always. Great to talk to you.
I look forward to your trivia winner, hearing who wins the trivia there. George, thanks so much for having us. Come visit us in Atlanta.
You know I will. Gary, thank you.
Take care.
Gary Stokan has been our guest, and stay tuned. We will have more of the George Plaster Show as you listen to 95.9 FM. As you might be able to tell, my buddy Stan Harrison, he's an Alabama Crimson Tide fan, but he's actually here to talk about Apple Collision Centers.
Hello, Middle Tennessee. I'm Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers, and we understand the stress it causes in having an automobile accident. We can help you ease the stress of the auto body repair process at our 3 locations. We're conveniently located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. We've got rental cars available, we have PDR technicians available, and we have windshield technicians available. Please stop by one of our places and see us if you need our services.
And by the way, when you come in his office, this just in, he's a sports fan.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
If you're having plumbing issues, there's only one guy to call. That's Adam Whitehead. As a third-generation plumber, Adam was born and raised right here in Bellevue. Customers praise his professionalism, efficiency, and personability. Adam is known for his prompt response to emergencies and for providing high-quality repairs at reasonable prices. His expertise extends to various plumbing issues, including sink leaks, dishwasher installations, and outdoor water issues. Call him at 615-485-1534. That's 615-485-1534.
Earn your business. Let the sportsbrokers.com show you how to win consistently. Call now and get today's underdog winner outright. 800-220-6262. Absolutely free. Kevin Todd is the nation's #1 sports handicapper. He's the professional the professionals turn to. It's yours absolutely free at 800-220-6262. That's 800-220-6262. Kevin Todd turns outcomes into incomes. Call now. 800-220-6262.
And so we are back. Kelly, I want to get into the whole Dome Stadium kind of stuff because I do believe it. I'm very excited that our city is getting a dome because I think it allows you to do a lot more events. Weather is not a factor in it. And I am very excited about that part of all this. I'm sure I caught some people off guard with what I said during the update. It really bothers me that the Titans have decided to go the route they're going, which is to try to fleece people, but then give you but we'll give you 10 years to pay it at 9% interest, which to me is a pile of crap. But my point to all this is this. The Titans are going to come out soon because it's going to start becoming a bigger issue. And what they're going to tell everybody is, well, that's what they're doing in Buffalo. To which my response is, I don't give a damn what they're doing in Buffalo. We live in Nashville, Tennessee, and we have supported this franchise through some thick, but a lot of thin. And I think all in all, the fan base that they have been able to get, given what they've put as a product on the field, which was much better earlier than it has been later, I think our fans deserve better, and I am not going to sit back and just say, oh, it's the National Football League, and if the Shield says we're to be fleeced, then it's okay. It's not okay.
George, you knew that was going to happen, though. I mean, we talked about it last year when we were talking about all this stuff, and Butch Spearden came on, and he was talking about all that, and he has no control over that. But we talked about PSLs, and you knew that the PSLs were going to increase. I mean, they've got. But here's the thing. I mean, it's the business model. People are going to pay it. They want to go to NFL games. They're going to pay it. You
Kelly,
may be upset about it.
I think a lot of people are not paying it.
Well, I don't know. You'll have to figure it out. But then those people that have paid before and are not willing to do it, well, I'm sure there's people that are waiting in the wings, saying that I'll pay it. So I don't know how. I've said this before, George. I don't know how a family of four go to an NFL game nowadays. I mean, you've got a lot of corporate sponsors now that are sending people that have got these luxury suites and they've got seats down below and they give their employees that stuff. But you got a family of four that's trying to make a living, and you go to a game, it costs you a bunch of money for a ticket. And then when you get in there, I mean, you're going to have to buy your kids food and drink and all that. I mean, it's a long day and it's a lot of money for those people. So I'm with you. I was thinking when you were talking to the Peach Bowl, Gary, when you were talking to Gary Stokan, when you were talking to him, I was thinking, Atlanta has become the mecca of college football. It's kind of crazy, and the Peach Bowl's been around for a long time, as you just talked about. But when I was a kid, like nobody ever heard of the Peach Bowl. You were thinking about the Orange Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Sugar Bowl. You never thought of the Peach Bowl, and the Peach Bowl has become very relative. And it's become kind of the mecca of college football. And I'm sitting here thinking, with Tennessee and Nashville getting this dome stadium, I'm wondering if that'll take a little bit away from Atlanta. I don't know if it will, but there's so many more things you can do in that when they're putting a dome over it. You don't have to worry about the weather. You can control the environment inside. You can have, soccer games. You can have all kind of things inside that deal where you don't have to worry about the weather. And they can make a lot of money doing that. So, it always seems like the consumer, the fan, it all falls back on that. I hate that, but that's just the way that this game works right now.
The whole indoor thing became much more important when the SEC put together the SEC football title game, and that was sort of a deal that Roy Kramer birthed. Well, what a lot of people forget is that the first 2 years that they played it at Legion Field in Birmingham, both years the city was under tornado warnings while the game was going on. And that's when the decision was made, we got to get this thing indoors. And Atlanta had just built the Georgia Dome. And that's where they got the head start on everybody by going ahead and biting the bullet and doing a dome.
The SEC, hold on, sorry, Billy, but the SEC is located in Hoover, it's kind of the center of the SEC. But now you look at it with the Georgia Dome and now the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, everybody feels as though Atlanta is kind of the mecca for SEC football, and it's become, college football, because that's where every big game is played. And you talked about it this year. The national championship game is going to be the Peach Bowl.
I don't want to sound like some Nashville homer, but Nashville's 3-4 hours away from north of Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that much of a difference if you had the SEC title game in Nashville, and the SEC title game won't be as important as it has been. I'm not saying fan bases won't travel, but
I think the goal here is to get the SEC to bring it here once every 5-6 years. Because it has done so well at the Georgia Dome. I just don't see it moving out of there to any permanent basis. Now, what other things can happen? Look, we're going to play host with this dome to some of the college football playoff games.
Yeah.
We just are.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that one's pretty much a given. And I don't mean to be throwing a wet blanket over the whole dome thing because, I see the commercial where Amy Strunk says, I think this is going to be a game changer. I agree it is. I just don't like their methods of operation and the fact that they are trying to screw over a really loyal fan base and they don't give a damn.
It feels a lot like the Raiders in Vegas. Where,
it does.
You know, I mean, you've got most Raider fans are in Oakland. I'm sure Vegas has developed some Raider fans. There's probably some Raider fans that don't even go to home games in Vegas, and they let the opponent's fan base take it over every week. And I mean, I hope Nashville doesn't get like that, but that's what this feels like.
Well, I think when the best answer you can come with, and I don't know what answers they're going to come with, because so far this has been a very underreported story. But, you know, when I hear this 20,000 per PSL and, you know, and we're going to give you 10 years to pay off at 9% interest, please. That's not acceptable. At least it isn't to me.
Yeah, Shaker on YouTube chimes in. Corporations are already paying it, according to Mike Keith's latest interview with Burke Nihill.
Listen, Mike can paint this picture all he wants. And for the record, I reached out on May 31st to Burke Nihill by way of text message to try to get him on to talk about this. He never responded.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. But get back on the other thing. I think Nashville has shown itself to be an entertainment place, and they do things right, and they do it really nice, and they do it big. And I don't know, you know, I know that Atlanta, like we've talked about, has become the college football place of the whole country. But like, I think you're right, George. I think Nashville, with this stadium coming, I think it can have a huge impact on college football. And I think, you know, maybe the Music City Bowl or whatever will you know, just explode, kind of like the Peach Bowl did in Atlanta, and you'll start getting some, you know, some playoff games in Nashville because of the way Nashville understands the entertainment industry.
Okay. We'll get into all this stuff later. We'll open the phones, excuse me, around 5:20, and feel free to get into this if you want, or get into whatever you may want to. After the break, we'll do stat of the day, and then to start the 5 o'clock hour, Mississippi State play-by-play voice Neil Price will join us on this show. Please stick around. You're listening to the George Plaster Show on 95.9 FM.
Good afternoon. Wrapping up several accidents, 165 southbound. It's going to be south of Trinity Lane. There was some flashing lights over there in Two Rivers a little bit earlier. They're trying to clear the scene of that on Briley Parkway northbound and McGavick Pike. It's pretty heavy now through Madison on 65 going northbound, trying to get on that ramp there to Vietnam Vets. Hey, if you need a roof repair, or roof inspection, independent roofing specialists, they've got you covered. IRSroofs.com. Check them out. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
There are certain sounds that just scream summer, like this one. And this one. And who can forget about these? That's right, it's the sound of players all across the state winning with the new July Instant Games from the Tennessee Lottery. So play today for your chance to win up to $500,000. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? The Tennessee Lottery, game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
There aren't any cops around.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
Hey, I can hold my liquor.
I drink and drive all the time.
If you put away some drinks, put away your keys. Fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
Atlanta Braves baseball is back, and the battle for a 7th straight division title is officially on.
Hit high and deep to left center. This has got a chance. Gone! Another home run for Olsen. He smokes another one. He lit the fuse on this bomb, and that's gone.
Listen to every pitch live, exclusively on your home for Atlanta Braves baseball. WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Welcome back. Wrapping up this first hour, we've got Neil Price, voice of the Mississippi State Bulldogs, coming up. But first, stat of the day, brought to you by Adam Whitehead Plumbing in Nashville. If you ever have issues with your water heaters, bathrooms, kitchen sinks, water, or sewer lines, give Adam a call at 615-485-1534. All right, let's see what we've got today as I scroll through this. Stat of the day. There we go. All right. Okay, that's actually the incorrect stat of the day. I will have... This is administrative error.
Kelly,
Well, I mean, what are we doing here, Billy? I mean, good gracious. I'm sitting here thinking, I mean, we can't get Adam Whitehead off the screen. I mean, you're trying to stall. Let's go.
Kevin Durant and LeBron James were excellent yesterday against Serbia in their quest for their 4th Olympic medal in basketball. Who is the only U.S. men's basketball player with 4 Olympic medals?
Kelly, here's one that's way out in left field. Is it Bill Russell?
Oh wow, I wouldn't even know. Is it a big name, Billy, or not really?
Pretty big name. And more recent than Bill Russell.
So it's not Bill Russell.
No.
So he's got to have 4 Olympics. Did you say 4 Olympic games, right?
Yeah, 4 Olympic medals.
I wouldn't even have a clue, George. I'm sitting here thinking. Is he part of the? Would he be part of the Dream Team?
No, not that old.
No.
Younger.
Oh wow.
Is it Steph Curry?
Nope.
Kobe?
Nope.
Okay, put it up there.
Russell Westbrook.
Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo Anthony.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Defense was optional.
Yes. He was
He
on
didn't want to play defense, George.
He was on that team that people were calling the second Dream Team, or the actual Dream Team.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a tough question.
That I would not have gotten.
That's a very tough one. We'll find out after the break. Did Neil Price have that answer? I see him watching the show. He'll be ready and raring to go. Play-by-play voice.
What about the other stat of the day from earlier from Gary Stokan? Remember that one?
We think it's Mac Brown.
So, Kelly and callers.
Here's the deal. Now, I didn't hear it. I had to go to the restroom. So.
Well.
Oh, that's nice. Thanks for sharing that.
We'll reveal that later.
Woo. Get that done before we start.
I'm drinking a lot of water, George. What do you want?
Okay. Well, that's wonderful. Okay, hour number 1 is done. We'll find out if Neil Price had the right answer when he joins us to start the 5 o'clock hour. You're listening to The George Plaster Show on 95.9 FM.
ABC News, I'm Daria Albinger. President Biden calling for more wide-ranging reforms for the U.S. Supreme Court. He says president should be able to appoint a new justice every 2 years, and he wants justices term limited to 18 years on the high court. He's also calling for a code of ethics. A 4.9 magnitude earthquake shakes Southern California.
I thought that there was a truck going by, a semi-truck, because it kind of shakes the store a little bit, but it wasn't. I was looking out the window, and then all of a sudden the bottles just started shaking really bad.
She works at a store near the epicenter in Barstow. Former President Trump says he'll give the FBI a victim's interview as it looks into the attempted assassination at a Pennsylvania rally. The U.S. men's gymnastics team won Olympic bronze in Paris today. It was their first Olympic medal since 2008. Women's team star Simone Biles competes in all 4 events of Tuesday's finals after injuring her calf during a warm-up Sunday. This is ABC News.
Is heating up, just like the deals at Omaha Steaks. From perfectly aged steaks to juicy burgers, Omaha Steaks is your summer grilling headquarters. Shop the Hotter Than Fire sale at omahasteaks.com for exclusive, unconditional money-back guaranteed packages starting at $99. Plus, get an extra $10 off with promo code QUALITY at checkout. Visit omahasteaks.com, code QUALITY for an extra $10 off. Shop the Hotter Than Fire sale today, before these deals go up in smoke.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
They say health is wealth, and I could not agree more. That's why if you or somebody in your life is living with everyday aches and pains, I want to tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. Naturally. Now that's a big deal. Developed by its doctors, Relief Factor's unique formula of ingredients all work together to help support your body's response to inflammation. Instead of masking pain for a couple of hours, Relief Factor actually helps reduce or even eliminate your pain for good. Whether it's neck, back, joint, or muscle pain, if you're looking to feel better, live better, give Relief Factor a try. In 3 weeks, you will know if it's working because you'll feel it. I was sent Relief Factor for me to try. I've been taking it every single day, and I do feel the difference. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Save on your first order. Don't let pain tell you how to live. Fight back naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio. From the Nashville Sports Radio Media Complex. Welcome back to the George Plaster Show. Call George now at 615-844-5600 and online at WNSR.com. And now, George Plaster.
Featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Watson Brown, Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Kelly Holcomb, along with Young Gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
And we welcome all of you into hour number 2 of the show from the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. Kelly Holcomb on the right side of the screen if you're watching the podcast. If not, then you'll hear him in just a second. But let's get to the important issue. Neil Price, play-by-play voice of the Mississippi State Bulldogs, in the right corner of the screen if you're watching the podcast. Good guy, funny. We'll have some fun before this is over. Did you get Carmelo Anthony?
No, but if you think about it, it makes sense because it feels like when the pro players started playing in the Olympics after those first 2 dream teams, he was the one guy who was kind of the constant threat after that. So, no, I didn't know it, but the more I thought about it in the break, I mean, Carmelo Anthony played basketball for a long time. Long time. So it made a lot of sense.
So tell people, there's a group out there that says, okay, this is the Mississippi State guy, who have no idea of your MTSU background. Kind of run through that real quick.
Yeah, so I finished college at Middle Tennessee in 2004. So went to junior college for 2 years at Walter State Community College in my hometown of Morristown. Went to ETSU part-time while I kept working at the community college for about a year and a half, going 6 hours at a time. That was the long, long way. And some stuff happened with the state budget at that point in the early 2000s. And best move for me was to get out of working, at the community college and to go finish my education. And Middle Tennessee had a great mass comm program, still does, and felt like a good fit. And I finished up there my last roughly 2 years and got most of my master's work done there too. Worked in the athletic department, got a job working on the Blue Raider network. And those were 2 to 3 of the best years of my life. I really loved the people in Murfreesboro. Worked for a legend in Boots Donnelly, who Kelly can tell better stories about than I can. But I saw Coach Donnelly on social media today with one of his guys going in the Blue Raider Hall of Fame too. And it was every bit as good as I hoped it would be to watch that video. That's my connection to Middle. And I still love coming back to that part of the world. Was there Saturday night, and great to be back in Murfreesboro.
And it was great to have Bob Kessling honored. And that was really cool that you made the effort to come up for that.
Yeah, well, Bob got me started in 2000. Yeah, 2000. So almost 25 years we've known one another. And he got me into business and helped me get my first job out of college at Kentucky, and helped me again when I got this job at Mississippi State. Every time I've had a decision to make regarding my career, I've picked up the phone and I've called Bob Kessling. And for as good as he is on the air, he has done so much good for people that you'll never know about. And I said this, Chip had him on his show in Murfreesboro a couple weeks ago leading into the Hall of Fame. And I said it on Chipper's show. You can turn on the SEC network, you can turn on ESPN, you can turn on several of the radio networks in the SEC, and you will see and hear people that Bob Kessling has directly impacted and helped get to that stage of their career. And he doesn't look for the credit for it, never has. But he's been honest with me about any question I've asked him from day one, knowing him in 2000. And he didn't have to continue to put any interest in me after I met him, but he did. And, for me to drive, whatever it is, 4.5, 5 hours up there for that is in no way close to being able to repay him for what he's done for me in the last 25 years.
Man, that is well said. Tell us about Jeff Lebby. Brand new to the conference, got a great offensive mind. Take it from there.
Yeah, I like what I have seen just being around him. And it's a small sample size because, when they got here, they had to put a staff together. They had to put a roster together. They were able to keep some guys, but with the transfer portal now, it seems like anytime there's a coaching change, you're kind of rebuilding the roster because everybody wants to go and see if they can find a more stable situation or they can find something they think is a better fit for them. So between putting the staff and putting the roster together, the spring game was pretty vanilla. It was exciting to watch. They got up and down the field, did all the things I think fans wanted to see. But I think we just saw a very, very small piece of what they really want their offense to be by the time this first season's over, because just wasn't a lot of time to do a ton of install, and it's a brand new system. So guys have got to learn it. So, I like being around him. He's young. It's the second time in my career that I've been older than the head football coach. And that bothers me probably more than it bothers him. I feel like I'm an old man now. But he's full of energy. The reports from players are that they love him, and they love that he's not only trying to make them better football players, but he's investing in all of them as people too. They're trying to do some things to really help these guys become better men while they're here. And I think all that is great. And I'm excited for him to get started later this week. It'll be good to be back out there and see guys moving around, pads popping again, and seeing if they can't get this thing headed in the right direction.
How different will his offense be, say, from previous the air raid stuff that Mike Leach did? Is it similar or way different?
I don't know that it's way different. The biggest difference, and listen, I'm a layman when it comes to this stuff, George, but they're going to pump it down the field more. The air raid was a lot of short passes underneath, let guys get open and run, spread the defense out. State didn't take that many deep shots when they had the air raid. They didn't take as many deep shots a year ago as I think people thought they were going to or wanted them to. Based on what I saw in the spring, they're going to turn Blake Shapen loose, and they're going to let him crank that thing down the field. And I think he's got one or two guys, Akari being one of them, that came over from UTEP. I think that he's a guy who can get behind some defenses, create some problems, and can make some of those big plays. So that's what I think the biggest difference is going to be. They're going to try to run it some, but they're going to try to stretch people out by throwing it downfield.
Neil Price is the play-by-play voice of the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Kelly, I know you guys know each other.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Coach Donnelly. That's funny that Coach Donnelly was on social media because I'm not even on social media. It was Marvin Collier that's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. Yeah, Marvin's my guy. He called me and was asking me, but Coach Donnelly being on social media is shocking to me.
It was a FaceTime call, Kelly. And the first thing that you see and hear is Coach Donnelly lean back in a chair in a conference room with the phone in his hand, yelling at Marvin, "Pick up the phone. Pick up the phone."
I don't know how it got out, but I knew that Marvin was going in, but it wasn't supposed to. He wasn't supposed to know. And I think Coach Donnelly told a lot of folks, son. I think hey, Marvin's going in the Hall of Fame, and he wasn't supposed to tell anybody. And I think Marvin found out about it before it happened. So I'm sure he acted surprised, but that's how Coach Donnelly rolls, man. It doesn't matter to him. You know that.
Oh, he is one of the great characters I have ever been around. One of my favorite people I ever worked for. Still doesn't know my name, I don't think, and that's fine. I was son and graduated to boy. But terms of endearment.
Well, I know that you know this, and this is kind of morbid, but Coach Donnelly, you remember Coach Bunio? Coach Bunio's wife passed away last week, which was kind of sad. Yeah, it was a sad thing, man. She was sick. I went out to eat with Coach Bunio and Coach Robbins and all those guys, and we asked Coach Bunio, and he said she was fine. And then, a couple of days later, I think she had a stroke and just was not good. So I got to see all those guys there, but that's, such a bad place sometimes to see everybody. You know how that goes. But my first question, Neil, is this: last year, we obviously know the tragedy that happened to Mike Leach, and was Zach Arnett given a shot, or just didn't work for him?
I think that it didn't work. And I think you had a few things at work there too. There's an administration change. So just being perfectly honest about it, the people who hired Zach Arnett weren't the people that were in charge of the athletic department, after he got into the season. And I will say this about Zach Arnett. I loved working with him. I think he will be a very good football coach for somebody one day. And I think he was asked to do the impossible. But he was willing. And I give him a ton of credit for that, because here's a guy 36 years old. I think when he was asked to take over and hold the program together, he deserves a ton of credit for that. Because I just don't know if he's not willing to step in the breach right there where this thing is. But he will be a football coach for somebody if he wants to be. I know from being around him that he loves being a coordinator. He loved working for a guy like Mike Leach, who did not micromanage him and let him basically have free reign to do what he wanted to do as a defensive coach. But I think it was a combination of a lot of things, Kelly. I think it's first-time head coach. And can you imagine if you're a first-time head coach and your first job is in the SEC, and in the SEC West at that, shy of the NFL, probably the toughest division in football. And he did his best. I believe that. I mean, I know he worked at it. I think he tried to put people around him that he thought they could help him. It just didn't work for whatever reason. But it will work for him one day. I don't have any doubt about that. It will.
Okay, so yeah, so Neil, you've already said some good things about Jeff Levy, but he's obviously an offensive guy. He coached at Oklahoma. He's coached at Ole Miss, at UCF. I mean, he's done some things, and he can score points. I've been around the game for a long time. Just because he's a good play caller doesn't mean he's going to be a good head coach. What are your thoughts about him? Since he's taken over, what makes you think he can be that guy?
Well, I think he carries himself the right way. He says the right things. He does the right things. And like I was telling George earlier, he has shown a commitment early to investing in football players as men and not just as guys who are going to be out here trying to catch passes, trying to score touchdowns, trying to throw the ball down the field. I think he has shown them that he cares about them on a deep level. He is trying to develop some loyalty in that respect. And in this day and age, that's a fleeting thing sometimes. So I think that's a big step in the right direction, that you let guys know that you care about them and you want them to be here for a while. And I think he keeps it pretty light too. I mean, they get their work done, but he wants football to be fun. It's supposed to be fun. And a lot of guys, in what we've heard in off-season workouts and even back in the spring, were saying that's something that really stood out to them, is just that they go out there and have a good time in the practices. They have a good time in those spring scrimmages, but they also felt like they got a lot accomplished. So I think he's trying to do it the right way. And again, it's a big hill to climb, because, this is a tough league, and, you're being asked to be a head coach in this league at a really young age against some guys who've been doing this for a long time. So, just got to go out and do the best you can. Make sure you show some improvement every week. And if you can do that, I think people here will be really happy. I do.
So what feelings do you have on Mississippi State this year? How do you feel that they're going to do in the SEC?
It's a great question, and I'm not sitting there trying to duck it on you, Kelly. The truth is there's so much new here right now. I don't know that any of us have a really accurate picture of what we think it's going to be. There are going to be a lot of new people who are going to have to be key contributors on offense and defense. They got 3 starters back, period. And one of those on special teams, or 2 of them, on special teams, I believe. So it's going to take somebody stepping up in a lot of different places to have a chance to be successful. But the other side of it is it can be really exciting, because you get a chance to watch guys grow up. You get a chance to watch them develop and emerge. And, if you build some confidence in some of these non-conference games, who knows, when you get to September, maybe you go out there and you punch above your weight a little bit. You find yourself in a game and you got some confidence, and you find a way to sneak up on somebody. I think the first month will tell a lot. It will. Just with so many young guys, it'll tell us if those people are there who can step up, who can make plays, make things happen. And then we'll know by the time we get to the end of September what this thing's going to look like.
So Neil, I got 2 silly things I'm going with here. So I'm looking at the website. Chris Stamps, what is a defensive fellow? I mean, can I be an offensive fellow for somebody? I probably make a little bit more money than I do on the George Plaster Show just being a defensive or an offensive fellow.
Not defensive. I don't think you bring anything defensive to the table.
You might make a little more. What we're starting to see now, Kelly, is these fellowship positions, what used to be graduate assistant, has become fellow, because now you can bring them in and you can give them a little money. I'm not sure I don't think school gets paid for in that. I'm not sure school even has to factor into the equation there, but I know it's a no benefits position with a little bit of money tied to it, akin to what the GA was for a long, long time.
I got you. So tell Shad Williams, if you ever see Shad, tell him I said what's up. Kelly Holcomb said what's up.
do it.
He's the head strength and conditioning coach for Mississippi State now, which is remarkable. Good kid, great kid. I loved him. I played with him with the Bills. Tell him I said what's up.
I'll do it, and I know they're excited about him here. And listen,
he's
that
good.
role in a football program today, that role is as important as head coach and coordinator.
Yep.
I mean, it's right up
Amen.
there.
It's a strength coordinator is what it is.
Yeah.
George hasn't heard of one of those, though. He don't have a strength coach, as you can tell.
Kelly, it's great to be back on vacation to deal with you. Neil, hire me. Get me the hell away from this guy. Hey, thank you for taking the time to come on and do this.
Yeah, glad to do it. Good to see you guys. Hi to everybody back in Middle Tennessee, and we'll do it again before too long. Season be here. It's hard to believe.
I know.
Into August, it's real. So it's coming.
Wow.
Bring it on. Neil, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
See you, brother.
It's a good man right there. Neil Price, play-by-play voice of the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Okay, we're going to open up the phones. I haven't talked to any of you almost 2 weeks. So I want to know what is on your mind. Now, obviously, I have stirred up a little hornet's nest today, and I'm not about to back off of my opinion. I don't need Mike Keith or anybody else telling me what's going on. I know a bunch of people have told the Titans to take their ticket package and shove it. And what they're doing is simply wrong. And we all know it's wrong. It's a fleecing. Anyway, that's my opinion. I'm not paid by the team. I know the difference in right and wrong, and I've got an opinion, and I'm going to share it. So, now that I got that out of the way, 615-844-5600 is the number. Again, 615-844-5600. You hit the phones. We'll talk next on 95.9 FM.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, you need to call Bart Durham. And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5688. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com. Them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
Okay, we are back. We're going to go to the phones here in just a minute. I think we've got two lines that are still open. And so I'm looking for a couple of red-blooded Americans who want to talk some sports, want to talk some Titans tickets, whatever you want to get into. I want to hear it at 615-844-5600. That's our number. Okay, let me start. Let me go there first. Let's go to Tony in Nolensville. Tony, are you there?
I'm here, George and Kelly and Billy and everybody else. Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
George, I'm right there with you about the tickets. I know 3 or 4 people that, actually I know about 10, that said they were not going to renew their tickets because they felt so gouged. And one of these particular friends of mine has been there from the day one and had one of the larger tailgate setups and everything. And it's a lot of people. I just feel a lot of people feel that they were being gouged to no end. So, but Kelly, I think Kelly's right too. Though there's the old saying. What's the old saying? The tickets will sell because it's whatever the market will bear.
Yep.
And I think you're going to have somebody out there who's going to buy those tickets. But I still think maybe your season ticket people, they're not going. That's my take on that.
Well,
Now,
let me ask you this, though. Do they not have an obligation to their football coaching staff and to their players to create the best home field advantage that they can?
They owe it to the fans and everybody.
Sure. But what I'm saying is
they have lost that concept. They don't have that.
I think it's been gone for a long time.
A long time. I gave my PSLs up after the 10th year. I got tired of the way they were continually doing things then, and I threw my hands up when my 2 tickets in section 342, 4 rows from the top, went to almost $1,000 for them. I said no more. I was also going to Vandy games and Austin P games and everything else, so it did help me in that nature. But when they were doing those type of things, and it's such a light switch between how the Predators do their thing and how the Titans do theirs. It's just a completely unbelievable difference when you've got those two scenarios where it's fun to be the Predators season ticket holder. You know you're getting a great product. You know they're going to go out of their way to make it a fun experience for everybody as reasonable cost that they can do it. The Titans over there, I've always felt like they didn't give a damn about their fans and whatever it was they were doing. That's the way I feel. So, and you know, others might feel different. I don't know. But the other thing I have a complaint about, and George, you've been giving a message to the people about this. But I went and decided I wanted to watch a lot of baseball in the second half of the season of the year. So I decided to buy the baseball package for the second half.
Right.
But they don't tell you that because of the Braves and the Reds being on Valley that you're not getting to see them, you don't get to watch the Cubs channel nor whoever's playing against those two teams. So in essence, they're blocking you on 4 channels that you're not getting to see the games.
I do get the Cubs. So I'm a little surprised because you're in Nolensville. It's not that far from Nashville. That one surprises me, the Cubs. Now, I knew about the Reds and the Braves.
Right, I did too. But when you want to watch them, I can't watch the Cubs channel.
Well, nobody's accused Major League. Yeah, nobody's accused Major League Baseball of being all that smart. This is one of their dumber, the logic behind if you're able to watch a game of those teams, that will sway whether you make a visit in the summer to one of those stadiums. That's insane.
It really is. It really is. And by the way, George, I didn't say nothing. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Had a good vacation. I'm sure you did.
I had a great one.
But I've tagged them now, Billy 1 and Billy 2. I think Kelly's kind of onto it also. But it has gone pretty well, and it was fun. And Danny last week he was a hoot with it also. So just
I don't
throw
doubt
it
that.
out there to you. But welcome back. Glad
Hey,
you're
thank
back.
you.
All the boys are back in the band. See you guys.
Thin Lizzy just around the corner. The boys are back in town. Okay, that leaves a line open. I want somebody to fill that line at 615-844-5600. Somebody jump in there. Bo on line 2. Welcome.
George, Kelly, my big concern that I'm thinking about on top of many other concerns with the Titans is this whole idea of they fired Mike Vrabel because they wanted to have a winner when they got into the new stadium. And that poses the question, they're banking on fans and Nashvillians paying multiple thousands of dollars by PSL and then a ticket to see a winner in a good stadium. What happens if the Brian Callahan experiment falls out and you get a Mike Munchak type run or, God forbid, a Ken Wisenhunt type run out of this? Like, how does that change the dynamic of people wanting to see the team at all, whether in a new stadium or not?
Well, to be honest, I think what we're getting at right now is way beyond wins and losses. You know, when you hear that a person is supposed to put $20,000 a seat down for a PSL, that's highway robbery. I mean, how many people truly have $40,000 to just hand over to the Titans, and for what reason? Look, these NFL teams are not hurting for money. Greedy is all get out, but hurting for money, Kelly, they're not.
You know, you'd have people to say that it's too big to fail, but you know, the NFL is a big conglomerate now. It really is. I mean, it's huge. But I'm here to say, I mean, I don't know. This is bad for me to say, but I don't know if it matters, George. I mean, I really do. Like Tony talked about it, and I said it earlier. Like I don't think it matters, man. I think if you don't buy your PSL, somebody's waiting in line to take it. If somebody else, say if I wanted a PCL, if I went to get it, or if I had one and didn't want it anymore, somebody go get it. So I think that the NFL has gotten so big, and Tony talked about it. It's a fun experience going to a Predators game. You've got to win in the NFL, but still, it's a product that people want to see. Now, if you're losing towards the end of the season, you're not going to get as many people to the game. But if you're winning, the stadium's going to be full. So I don't know at this point if it matters.
The one area that I do think it matters is this simply going to be a dome that gets filled if the visitor is one of the old guard NFL, and that's the only time? Because to be honest, if that's what they're after, then they're doing their players and their coaching staff a huge disservice.
Yeah. And I don't know this, George. I know back in the day when, I played against Steve McNair when y'all were in Nashville, and when I was with the Browns, we probably, the Browns are a big seller. We bring people, but, I never thought of Nissan Stadium or whatever was a tough place to play. I never thought that. Like when you go to Kansas City, that's a tough place to play. When I played in the Minneapolis Metrodome, that was a tough place to play. When you come to the Titan Stadium, like, it's in the South. The South is kind of predominantly SEC country, college football country, and you've got the Titans. I understand that, and y'all have had some successful seasons, but like, we didn't think about, when we were preparing, we didn't worry about the crowd noise. We didn't worry about all that. That's just something that you have to deal with. But like when you go to Kansas City or when you go to a place like that or a New England, I mean, it's different. It just didn't feel that way for us when we played here in Tennessee.
Yeah. Hey, Bo, thank you for the call.
Appreciate y'all. And the other thing the NFL doesn't have to worry about, unlike MLB, who's utterly botched their TV programming, you can watch an NFL game without the sports package or without cable television. All you need is a satellite or a CBS account, and you can watch any NFL game you want within your region. So why wouldn't you stay home and watch for free versus $40,000 a year?
Yep. Thanks for the call. Okay, we'll take more of these phone calls, after the break. Eric in Nashville will be first, then Jeff in Murfreesboro. Got one that's open right now. Somebody hit it, 615-844-5600, and we're back after this. As you might be able to tell, my buddy Stan Harrison, he's an Alabama Crimson Tide fan, but he's actually here to talk about Apple Collision Centers.
Hello, Middle Tennessee. I'm Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers, and we understand the stress it causes in having an automobile accident. We can help you ease the stress of the auto body repair process at our 3 locations. We're conveniently located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. We've got rental cars available, we have PDR technicians available, and we have windshield technicians available. Please stop by one of our places and see us if you need our services.
And by the way, when you come in his office, this just in, he's a sports fan.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
If you're having plumbing issues, there's only one guy to call. That's Adam Whitehead. As a third-generation plumber, Adam was born and raised right here in Bellevue. Customers praise his professionalism, efficiency, and personability. Adam is known for his prompt response to emergencies and for providing high-quality repairs at reasonable prices. His expertise extends to various plumbing issues, including sink leaks, dishwasher installations, and outdoor water issues. Call him at 615-485-1534. That's 615-485-1534.
4 touchdowns. Let him earn your business. Let the sportsbrokers.com show you how to win consistently. Call now and get today's underdog winner outright. 800-220-6262. Absolutely free. Kevin Todd is the nation's #1 sports handicapper. He's the professional the professionals turn to. It's yours absolutely free at 800-220-6262. That's 800-220-6262. Kevin Todd turns outcomes into incomes. Call now. 800-220-6262.
5:40 as we welcome all of you back on a Monday afternoon that'll turn into Monday evening here in a little while. Let's go to your phone calls. Eric in Nashville, welcome.
Hey, George, welcome back. At first, I thought you were just annoying me because of what my Reds did to your Braves.
I know. God. Yeah, I watched I watched one of the games while I was down there. It was awful.
Yeah. Of course, the interesting thing, I remember what Danny said. He said that he thought that the Braves were going to catch the Phillies, but the way things are going, they got to worry about the Mets with the way they've been playing. Because I think they said Mets now, if the season would end with, I think would have the second wild card, although the Braves did win the last 2 games of that series. But I tell you what, the Mets, just where they started to see where they are now, it's just been an amazing turnaround with what they've done.
It has been. Look, I don't want to come off with a bunch of excuses, but the Braves have had a ton of injuries, and they've reached a point where
Reynaldo goes down too.
Yeah, and they're reaching a point where I just don't think there can't be much more of that they can sustain. Yeah. And to me now the decision is, do you give up prospects to try to help this team this year? I don't know that it's worth it.
Yeah, no, you're right, George. You're right. George, a couple of things, and I'll get off. George, you know me, I've been a season ticket holder, not since day one, but since they made the run to Super Bowl, and I original PSL fee, I think it was $1,000. In fact, I was ready to just let the tickets go this season, but I actually had somebody who was connection that knew through the Titans decide they were going to pay for my season tickets. I told them, no, don't do that. No, I'm not worried about that. He said, no, I'm paying for them. So I said, I'm not going to argue with you to do that. But most people in my section, I know, because I sit in 312, they've said the same things. They're just, once the new stadium is here, they're not going to continue to do it. They're just basically going to ride it out for the next 2 years, and then 2 or 3 years, and then that's it for them. And don't blame them, because I'm the same way. It's just a shame that they're doing what they're doing. It makes no sense, but it is unfortunate what it is. And I think they're going to learn the hard way about that, because they had a lot of dedicated loyal fans who were willing to do that, because I don't know if they've got the people, the disposable income to do that. And George, last thing, and then I'll get off. Of course, and I know you'll eventually talk about this too, is the signing of both Jordan Love and Tua over the weekend, those huge contracts. And it's just going to be interesting which one of those two guys really steps up going further. I think probably the guy that is probably primed for the future success is probably Jordan Love, with the way it's set up for him. Nothing against Tua, but they've already, the Dolphins, I know, lost several pieces on defense and some of the offensive line, and they've got probably 3 of the highest paid players with the Tua and the 2 wide receivers. And whether or not that's going to be able to continue, we'll have to wait and see, and also what's going to happen with Dak going forward. But we'll see what happens. George, take care. We'll talk to you again soon. You have a good rest of the evening.
Eric, good talking to you. Kelly, did you ever dream $54 million for a season?
I mean, those guys got paid, man. I'm not sold on Tua yet. I'm really not. I think Jordan Love's a good player. I think he came on the scene last year. I don't know if 1 year does it, but that's how these contracts are going now in the NFL. If you show 1 year, I mean, you would think you got to back it up with another year, but they're signing these guys and wrapping them up, and I'm just still not sold on Tua, man. He's got guys around him, but I don't know. We'll see.
At what point, if you're Jordan Love, We've talked about the run of quarterbacks the Packers have had with Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and now you get paid. Is he the highest paid quarterback now in the league? I think I saw that.
Man, I don't even know.
At what point, if you're Jordan Love, do you start to feel that heat a little bit? Man, I've got to perform. The Packers are leaning on me. They just put everything into me. Packers quarterbacks have always gone to Super Bowls and won. I wonder about that.
Well, the other thing is, do you get to a point with the quarterback money where it's so tough, it's such a large number that you can't pay other people?
Yeah.
That's what happens. That's exactly what happens. That's why Tom Brady had to restructure his contract every year, because he knew that he had to get people around him to be successful, and that's why he was willing to do that. But some of this stuff is outrageous, guys. It really is. But I've talked about it before. Expectations. Me and Danny's talked about it about baseball, but expectations. It's great to get that money. But when you get that money, that bullseye's on your back, and sometimes guys do not handle that pressure really well.
Jeff in Murfreesboro, you're up next.
First of all, about the NFL, Kelly's right. They don't care, because it's one body. If somebody drops off with season tickets, they'll just be the next one. And every owner should reduce the price for what I call them NCGs, the no one cares games, the preseason games. George, I just should watch CFL football. They started their season right now, about 7-8 weeks in. I just should watch a CFL regular season game before I watch the Hall of Fame game Thursday night. I'd just soon watch that. 110 yards, 3 downs, 25-yard end zones, throw it all over the place, run whatever you want to do. I'd just soon watch that. Or I'd watch paint dry or grass grow. And as far as Major League Baseball goes, the TV stuff, get direct TV. You'll be able to watch the Braves every night. I've got you can watch Valley every night if you get that satellite. And that's why baseball's not worried about TV, because they've already solved their problem, this hurry-up stuff, this pitch clocks and hurry up and 2.5-hour games. They ain't worried about nothing else. And Manfred is going to retire in 2029. So when he's done, they'll get somebody else in there. He's already ruined it with all this hurry up and 1-2, the first base and runner at second starting the 10th inning and all this international tiebreaker in softball. He's already ruined the game anyway. So he's not worried about television. He don't care if you ever watch a game or whatever. And another thing about the NFL, the Titans don't care about players either, because it's about an 18-game season. When does it end, George? 25 games, 30 games? When did the season? It was 14 years in the 60s, went to 16, 17, now 18. So how many games you want to play in the regular season?
I'm with Jeff on that.
Oh, I am too.
So much.
I'm sorry. Say that last part again.
I said back in the 60s and 50s, they played 14. Then they went to 16.
Yeah.
17. Now they're posting 18. When does it end, George? 25, 30? When is it?
I don't know, but I know it's not a Titan issue.
Not. I'm saying that's the NFL. You say
sure.
The Titans don't care about the fans. They don't care about players either and their health. They could care less. They don't care about them either.
Well, they
care about stuff.
That's an NFL issue.
Well, I know, but the Titans in the NFL, aren't they?
Sure,
so they
but I mean,
vote, don't they?
Sure, but they're 32 teams in the middle of that deal. And by the way, I agree with you.
Don't they? Correct.
I guess I don't know how they decide that. But yeah, you're right. They do have a vote.
They've got a vote on it, so they can say what they want to do. What I'm saying is when you talked about one day about football, and that day, George, when I had you going, I've got you. Dude, I got you. That's what I want you talking about me, because I've got you. The other sports besides football, tonight I'm going to watch the field, a lot for me against the field in Freedom Hall with TBT. Probably going to sell it out, 15,000, 16,000. And the winner of the tournament, in the final 8 now, is Kentucky and Louisville alumni. The winner of the tournament splits $1 million. I wonder if anybody in Tennessee's been watching that. Probably not. I bet Mark Griffin ain't either, because Tennessee ain't got no team in it. So y'all have a good day. See y'all.
There's Jeff in the borough.
Okay, moving right along. Jack on line 3. Are you there?
Yeah, and I'm not going to holler about anything either.
Okay, let's hear it.
The only thing that I wonder, and it's the NFL as a whole, not just the Titans, but the Titans alone will rake in $500 million with a B this year from the TV contracts alone. I understand building a completely air-conditioned, roofed stadium is not a cheap proposition. And the salaries of players just keep going up, and I'd imagine coaches and front office, everybody else does too. But at some point, how much money is enough? I mean, you've got a commissioner that literally makes $1 million a week. And
yeah, the 44, what it, 42 or 44 million is absurd.
It's already well past the point where guys that punch a time clock like me can go to a game. And like I say, I realize the new stadium will be a huge step forward. They can make a lot more money, Metro and the Titans. With it being a sealed venue, they can have more concerts, more anything they want in there. And this is all good stuff. But at some point, it's going to be strictly an expense account stadium, just like the Super Bowl already is. And eventually they'll get around to where there won't be any free broadcast games. And this all just keeps rolling forward, the NIL and college football. And I just wonder sometimes, when my head's not spinning, how much money is enough?
You know, it's funny.
That's really the only question I got.
Yeah. You know, this conversation used to happen a lot between me and the late Rick Regan. When does it reach a saturation point? And, you know, I do believe, Kelly, that there are a bunch of people who have sat in the club level and lower level of that stadium. They have not yet gotten to us in the upper deck. So I don't really know what their plan is there. But there are a lot of people that have told them to take this offer and shove it. And, you know, they can put out all this happy talk, and Mike Keith can get on with Burke Nihill, and people are signing up. Yeah, some people are stupid enough to do it. But there are a lot of people who are saying, no, it's not worth this. I just hate that this is the narrative right now that the Titans have forced us into.
George, I'm going to be honest, and I've sat in those meetings before where we had NFLPA meetings, and when they had the COVID year, they had nobody in the stands. They didn't care because the TV deals are so big. I can remember when I played, it was $4 billion a year. That was when I played. That was a long time ago. 17 years ago was my last year. So just think about the money now. They don't care if they're in stadiums. As long as they got the TV deal, they're okay. I promise you. And that's going to piss people off, but that's the way this plan works, man. Sorry.
We'll wrap the show up. My intention is to give you a winner, and I need to find out what it was Billy was up to last week. I think he took over for the week, and I believe his winning percentage was 40%. And I believe that although it's better than mine, it ain't going to pay any bills. We're back after this.
Good afternoon. A couple of ranks in their clearing stages, including Harding Place at Danby Drive. Also there at 40 West near 46th Avenue out on the west side. It's over as far over to the right as they can get it. Still some volume right now. Trying to get up through Madison on 65 going northbound. Hey, Prince's Hot Chicken has new items on their new menu. Check it all out right now and order online at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. A letter in your mailbox says you could save money bundling your home and auto insurance with Progressive. Bad news. You saw it after your teenager backed the car into the mailbox. Dumb news. A new mailbox, basically a box on a stick, costs up to $400. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and go with paperless mail instead. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in. so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Summer is heating up, just like the deals at Omaha Steaks. From perfectly aged steaks to juicy burgers, Omaha Steaks is your summer grilling headquarters. Shop the Hotter Than Fire sale at omahasteaks.com for exclusive unconditional money-back guaranteed packages starting at $99. Plus, get an extra $10 off with promo code SIZZLE at checkout. Visit omahasteaks.com, code SIZZLE for an extra $10 off. Shop the Hotter Than Fire sale today before these deals go up in smoke.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
Hey, if you're looking for a place to catch all the hockey and hoops action this spring, look no further than the Alley Pub in Bellevue. And now here's Samantha to tell you about one of their great weekly specials.
Attention service industry. We want to say cheers to you at the Alley Pub, located at 7040 Highway 70 South in Bellevue. Every Wednesday night, bring a copy of your ABC card or pay stub to receive 20% off of your tab. Only at the Alley Pub, Bellevue's best sports bar and grill.
Hey, this is Greg Pogue. Every day, Monday through Friday, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the Greg Pogue Show right here on Nashville Sports Radio. Mandated fun, the return, Weenie Wednesday, favorite things of the day, all kind of stuff going on. Watson Brown, Jeff Fisher, you are very much a part of it. Call or text 615-844-5600. That's the Greg Pogue Show. Every Monday through Friday, 2 to 4 p.m. right here on Nashville Sports Radio.
Final segment on the George Plaster Show. We've got Bet of the Day brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law coming up. Bart Durham, best in the business. Give him a call, 615-242-9000, or log on to bartdurham.com. All right, let's get to the results from last week, not just this weekend, but my record, as George did say, was 2-3. Not bad.
No.
I take pride in that.
No, you should not. Billy, at least I'll admit when I suck. If you go 2-3, that's 40%. Kelly, that's not going to cut it, is it?
Well, he was taking the White Sox every day, which I think that's what you're taking today.
No, I was betting against the White Sox.
Oh, you were? Okay. Well, that's what I'm saying, against the White Sox.
Right. Who are in the middle of a 14-game losing streak. They're selling off half their team, and tonight they're playing Kansas City in Chicago.
Let's beat a man while he's down. Let's beat a man while he's down, George. That's the way to go.
We're taking the Royals.
Why not?
Part of the reason we're taking the Royals is we need to get back on track.
Y'all are both sorry human beings for doing that.
Football season is just around the corner. You know, when you put your neck out on the line every night for the people and you don't deliver, it's a bad feeling.
It's tough. It's tough.
You know, Jeff brought up the CFL. Is there lines on the CFL?
I don't know.
That could be an avenue.
Well, why didn't you use it?
I'll look into it.
For the next time.
Yes, next week I host.
So Tony Basilio will join us tomorrow from Knoxville, and that'll be fun.
What you going to get into?
Probably football season. It's around the corner. There is a Pro Football Hall of Fame game Thursday night. And while the product in preseason sucks, they do get the benefit. They get the benefit of people are just dying for football season.
Yeah.
So they'll watch it.
At least a little bit.
And selling PSLs.
Yes.
PSL was the buzzword today.
Kelly, tonight we're rooting for Kansas City.
Okay, way to knock a man wise down, George. You and Billy both. Y'all terrible. You suck.
By the way, Paul Skeens tonight for the Pirates in Houston against the red-hot Astros. That might be worth seeing. See all of you tomorrow.